Kevin and Diana O'Connor always thought having a baby would come easily.
I remember as a kid, I just thought people are just I want a baby, okay, you have one, and it's just not that easy all the time.
Both were raised Catholic and were open to life. They eventually did get pregnant, but tragically lost their baby to miscarriage. And then they suffered another miscarriage, and then another one.
Being the woman, you're like, if fertility doesn't work out, you just feel like it's your fault, it's just thoughts that go in your head.
The O'Connors moved to a new town in Maryland and started seeing a new doctor, a Catholic and pro-life OB/GYN, who suggested they switch what type of natural family planning method they were using to the Creighton method, a method the doctor said would be better tailored to address Diana's long and irregular cycles.
Yeah, that was very frustrating. I feel like for you physically and mentally to have 70-day cycles or stuff were just don't make sense.
Natural family planning, commonly called NFP, is a way of identifying the 6 or 7 days in a woman's cycle when she can get pregnant. The U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops define it as the scientific, natural, and moral method for married couples to either achieve or postpone pregnancy. The O'Connors took a Creighton NFP class, got a Creighton instructor, and their physical paper Creighton chart, charting that ultimately led to medical testing.
I've had a bunch of lab work, a bunch of different scans and ultrasounds.
Diana's doctor identified she had low progesterone and prescribed her to take progesterone on certain cycle days. Balancing her hormones and regulating her cycle eventually led to the O'Connors getting to meet one of their babies for the first time, their daughter, Monica.
Yes, that's Dad.
And now, not quite 2 years old, Monica is already a big sister, with the new baby O'Connor due any day this May. The O'Connors are clear that progesterone is not some magical pill. They've suffered 2 additional miscarriages while on their progesterone regimen. But they do feel grateful for the increased knowledge NFP brought them.
Sometimes the teachings of the Catholic Church are hard, and you're tempted to do all of these other things that might get you what you want, which is a baby.
Dr. Mary Ann Sora of Ascension St. Agnes Natural Fertility Care in Baltimore is the O'Connor family's OB/GYN, who has walked with them in their fertility journey. But learning to embrace and advance NFP for her patients was a journey for Dr. Sora in and of itself. In her early years as a doctor, Sora says she believed artificial contraception was good and basic health care, but she grew increasingly uncomfortable in prescribing it as a Catholic OB/GYN.
I sought spiritual direction a few times, and then ultimately this one priest was like, "This is really wrong. You are participating in something evil." And at that point I felt that God was calling me to stop.
It was that decision, Sora says, that ultimately made her a better doctor.
Sometimes birth control can be used as a Band-Aid without really understanding what the underlying problem is. And when I didn't have that in my back pocket anymore, I was really forced to learn more about really what were people's underlying problems.
Sora became trained in NAPRO technology, which is when you implement the Creighton NFP method for medical use.
The most common medical conditions that I use NAPRO for is polycystic ovarian syndrome. So with those women, they are not ovulating and they have elevated testosterone levels. So getting to the underlying reason for that, doing surgery actually is a big part of NAPRO.
It's not just Catholics and pro-lifers who are interested in natural family planning. There seems to be a growing interest in NFP in our wider culture as well.
Women ditching hormonal contraception for more natural methods is trending in society and online.
I've been on 5 to 6 different types of birth control, and during that period, I developed cystic acne.
The hashtag getting off birth control has millions and millions of views on TikTok, with videos like this one pointing out its health concerns. Meanwhile, there are a growing number of smartphone apps allowing women to chart their cycles, from tracking periods to temperature and beyond.
It can be for anybody. You don't have to be Catholic or Christian to do this.
From pop culture publications to much more sophisticated publications, there's talk about understanding how your body works, right? Because we're always about empowering women, right? And That's what natural family planning does. Just knowing how your body works empowers you.
Dr. Sora says embracing natural family planning brings medical benefits, marital benefits, and also difficult spiritual lessons.
Sometimes it's hard. You're afraid to be pregnant. You're afraid to rely on natural family planning. You can't get pregnant and you want to do IVF or something else. It's very much like our faith and following Christ. Sometimes the journey is beautiful and filled with joy. And sometimes the journey is really hard. And you just rely on your faith and know that the Blessed Mother has you in her arms and that Jesus is walking with you.
Catherine Hadro, EWTN News In Depth.